The technically check-in. So we were discussing the differences between equity shares and preference shares. Number 9, control. Equity shareholders have control over the management, but preference shareholders don't have any control over the management. Sequence of repayment. While the winding up of the company, equity shareholders are to be paid after the preference shareholders have been paid. Repayment of preference shareholders are made before the equity shareholders. Areas of dividend. If some amount of dividend is not paid during one accounting year, in equity shares the dividends cannot be accumulated to be paid in the next year, but in preference shares, if the preference share of cumulative nature, the dividends may be accumulated and they may be paid in the coming years. Next is retained earnings. As I have told you, the amount of profit that is earned in the company is distributed to the equity shareholders after other liabilities have been paid off. Like if the company has earned 1 lakh rupees of profit this year and it needs to pay rupees 20,000 as dividend to the preference shareholders, so it would be paid. Apart from that, the profit remaining is rupees 80,000. Now this 80,000 full amount may not be distributed to the equity shareholders. If for example there are 100 equity shareholders, rupees 80,000 is to be distributed among the 100 equity shareholders, so they all will be getting rupees 800, but this 80,000 rupees might not be distributed and some amount of profits may be retained in the business. For example, the company has expansion plans this year. The company needs to expand its business, so it needs fund for that. In that case, the company might retain some of the profits with them and may not distribute all the amounts of profit to the equity shareholders. In that case, the amount of profit retained in the business will be known as retained earnings. It is the part of owner's capital, the equity shareholders, because it was the profit. That amount of profit must have been distributed to the equity shareholders, but for the expansion of the company, for further activities of the company, such amount is retained in the business, so it is called retained earnings or plugging back of profits. This is also known as plugging back of profit. So this plugging back of profit depends upon many factors like dividend policy and age of the organization. Next is GDR, Global Depository Receipt. This is also one source of raising owner's capital or owned funds. How? In case of GDR, the local currency of the company is delivered to the depository bank, which in turn issues a depository receipt against this shares known as Global Depository Receipt. GDRs are denominated in US dollars. In context of India, let us see what happens, what will be the process of a GDR. A GDR is an instrument issued by abroad by an Indian company to raise funds in some foreign currency and is listed and traded on foreign stock exchange. So any Indian company may raise funds in foreign currency by issuing GDRs, and that GDRs will be traded and listed in foreign stock exchange. If suppose some Indian company, for example Reliance Industries Limited, wants to raise fund through GDRs, it may issue GDRs which may be traded in some other foreign security market for foreign stock exchange, and the funds raised from there will be in foreign currency. In this case, the holders of GDR don't have any voting rights. GDRs do not carry any voting rights. The same is the case of ADRs. Any company in USA may issue depository receipt. They will be called American Depository Receipt. The concept here is also the same. Similarly is Indian Depository Receipt. Any company in foreign may invest or may raise funds from the Indian market by issuing Indian Depository Receipt. This Indian Depository Receipt will also be issued and traded similarly as any kind of shares of any Indian company in the Indian Stock Exchange. So this type of IDRs, GDRs are also the sources of raising owners fund. So I have shown you different sources of raising owners fund. Number 1 was equity share, number 2 preference share, number 3 retained earnings, number 4 Global Depository Receipt, number 5 American Depository Receipt, and number 6 Indian Depository Receipts. Now let us see their advantages and disadvantages. let us see here equity shares. Now in case of equity shares, what are the merits? It is suitable for adventurous investors. Why it is called adventurous investors? For the investors, those who are willing to take more amount of risk or more degree of risk for higher returns, for them it is suitable, because in equity shareholders there is high amount of risk prevailing. So the adventurous investors or the investors willing to take higher degree of risk may invest their amount in equity shares. Next is no burden on the company. One more advantage of equity share is no burden on the company. The company have no burden of earning such amount of return, because they don't have any obligation to pay certain amount of dividend or certain rate of dividend to the equity shareholders. If the company earns profit, the dividend will be paid to the equity shareholders. If the company doesn't earn any profit, they don't need to pay any dividend to the equity shareholders. So there is no burden on the company to earn certain amount, or there is no obligation on the part of the company. Next, it is permanent capital. Equity shares once issued cannot be repaid during the lifetime of the company. So it is a source of permanent capital for the company. Next is no charge on assets. Also, equity shareholders do not have any security regarding the repayment of their amount. There is no charge or no security on any assets of the company. If the company doesn't pay back the amount to the equity shareholders, they cannot mortgage its assets. The assets of the company remains free of charge. The equity shareholders cannot bring any issue or litigation to the company regarding the non-payment of their capital. Control. The equity shareholders also enjoy voting rights on various issues of the company and ensures democratic management in the company. So this is also advantages. This is also an advantage for the equity shareholders, as they get control in the company. Next, provides credit standing. More amount of equity share capital in the company increases the credit worthiness of the company and also provides confidence to the prospective loan providers. If there is higher equity share capital, then it increases the credit worthiness of the company, as anyone would be looking it as a benefit, or the credit worthiness would be increased of the company. Anyone watching it with any company with a higher equity share capital will always obtain some sort of privileges in the market to obtain loan. Next is demerits or disadvantages of equity shares. Risk of fluctuating return. The return on equity shares are never fixed. So in the times of depression or recession in the market, the equity shareholders have to suffer loss and they might get no return or very low return. So the risk of fluctuating return is always existing in the case of equity shares. Next is higher cost. The cost of raising funds through equity shares is high compared to other sources. The cost of issuing equity shares, bringing the public to buy equity shares, influencing the people to invest money in equity shares is a bit higher. So the cost of issuing equity share is high. Next is dilution of control. Whenever additional amount of equity shares are issued by a company, whenever any company issues more and more number of equity shares, the control of the company gets diluted, because more number of equity shares will be sold to more equity shareholders, and when there will be more equity shareholders, there will be more voting rights available to the general public. More amount of equity shareholders means more dilution of the control in the management, as the voting rights will be distributed among more shareholders. For example, if now there are 100 shareholders of a company or 1000 shareholders of the company, and the company plans for issuing more equity shares, in that case such 1000 equity shareholders may increase to 2000 equity shareholders. Now the voting rights will be distributed among 2000 equity shareholders. So the control of the earlier 1000 equity shareholders have been diluted, and now it has become more democratic and more number of owners have been initiated or added to the company. Next is legal formalities. A company also has to complete various legal formalities to take permissions to issue equity shares to the general public. So the legal formalities in this case is also very high. Next is preference shares. Let us check what are the merits and demerits of preference shares. Number 1, regular income. Since the rate of dividend is fixed in preference shares, so regular amount of income may be expected by the preference shareholders. The people investing in the preference shares may expect a regular amount of income from the dividend provided by the company. Next is no interference in the management. Also, through the point of view of the company, it is an advantage because the preference shareholders will not be provided any interference, any right to interfere in the management of the company because they do not have any voting rights. Next is no charge on assets. Also, preference shareholders do not have any charge on the assets of the company. In case of non-payment of capital by the company, the preference shareholders cannot bring any litigation or cannot compel the company to sell its assets and pay the amount back to the preference shareholders. Repayment of preference principal amount. In case of preference shares, they have a preferential right to repayment of the capital before the amount is repaid to the equity shareholders. Next is trading on equity. Trading on equity is a system, or it is a policy of the company where the company invests more amount of borrowed funds and less of owned funds in the company to obtain higher returns to the equity shareholders, to provide higher amount of dividend to the equity shareholders. For example, if the rate of the rate of interest fixed on borrowed fund is 10%, the company needs to provide 10% return to the borrowed funds, or the 10% interest is to be paid on the amount of loan that is taken by the company, and the company earns 30% of profits this year. The return on investment of the company is 30%. In that case, only 10% will be provided to the providers of funds through loan, or the sources of loan, the loan providers or the preference shareholders will be paid only 10% of interest, and the remaining 20% will be provided to the equity shareholders. In this case, there will be less number of equity shareholders. When there will be less number of equity shareholders, more amount of profit will be paid to the equity shareholders and the rate of dividend will go high for the company. This type of arrangement is called trading on equity. Next is variety. A company may issue different types of preference shares according to the need of the investors and the interest of the company. There are a variety of types of the preference shares, that is cumulative, non-cumulative, participating, non-participating, redeemable, irredeemable, convertible, non-convertible, secured, unsecured. So there are different types of preference shares that we'll be discussing later on. Let us see what are the demerits of preference shares. Number one, not suitable for bold investors or adventurous investors. Since the rate of dividend is fixed on preference shares, so it is not suitable for the adventurous investors. Next, there is no voting rights, as we have already discussed, so this is also a demerit for the preference shareholders. Next is unreliable and low returns. The rate of return is fixed, but it is low in case of preference shareholders. There is